Parents, what's the single best thing that happened to your child? When my son was 17, he was caught in a terrible accident with a drunk driver. The airbags ruptured both his eardrums. Doctors told us he would recover, but he might never hear again. You see, this was devastating to my son because he was a musician. His entire life since age 7 had been building toward one goal, Juilliard, the best music school in the world. 6 hours of practice daily, competitions every month, everything sacrificed for that dream. The silence crushed him. He tried to play through it. I'd wake at 3 a.m. to those attempts, watching him press keys, his face twisted in frustration. He told me later he could feel through his damaged little ears that the vibrations were wrong, feel the music was mangled even though he couldn't hear it. During the day, he wouldn't leave his room, dishes piled up outside his door, untouched sandwiches, full glasses of water. His phone buzzed with messages he wouldn't read. My son was clearly depressed. It got worse because he had his Juilliard audition in 1 week. This wasn't just any audition. This was the spring showcase where scouts from the best music schools came to our state. He'd been preparing his piece for years. I assumed he wouldn't go. But the morning of the showcase, he came downstairs dressed and ready. "I'm going to the audition," he said. I was terrified. How could he play for a crowd when he couldn't hear? But he insisted. "Mom, I've got this." I knew he had been practicing at night, but part of me still felt like a terrible parent for letting him go through with this. What if he humiliated himself? What would this do to his reputation? My hands shook as he walked onto the stage. Then he began to play. He played with his entire body, feeling the vibrations through the bench, through the floor, through his bones. His eyes stayed closed, fingers moving from pure muscle memory. Every note, every pause, every crescendo came not from hearing, but from years of practice burned into his soul. It was flawless, the most beautiful performance I'd ever witnessed. When he finished, the entire auditorium sat frozen in awe. No one moved, no one breathed. They were too stunned by what they'd just witnessed. His face fell. He had no idea he'd just delivered the performance of his life. To him, the silence meant failure. I watched panic creep across his face. He thought he'd messed up, thought he'd embarrassed himself. He started to stand, to leave. I jumped to my feet, clapping as hard as I could. The spell broke. Another parent stood, then another. Within seconds, the entire auditorium erupted. Standing ovation. He couldn't hear the thunderous applause, but he could see it. Hundreds of people on their feet, hands coming together in celebration of what they'd just witnessed. After the show, a scout from Juilliard found me in the hallway. "Your son," she said, breathless. "That was extraordinary. We'd like to offer him admission." My heart soared, but then she noticed my tears weren't just happy ones. "What's wrong?" she asked. I took a shaky breath. "He's deaf. The car accident. It happened a month ago. He couldn't hear a single note he just played. Everything you saw, he did it through memory and feeling the vibrations through his fingertips." Her face went pale. "He's what?" She grabbed my arm. "He played that entire piece without hearing it?" I nodded. She immediately called over the other scouts. When they heard, one of them actually sat down in shock. They huddled together for a moment, then returned. Not only was he admitted, they offered him a full scholarship.